Should be live. Spat's already saying late.
We're not late.
You
We're
just
here.
can't keep these people happy. I tell you.
We're not late. We're not even late.
You're
I don't
live
know what-
7 days in a row and people still complain. Spat.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
No,
I can't believe it.
Mason was being solicited on the telephone. Okay. Well, yeah, not in that way, but
This is not starting well. I'll say that. This is the weirdest start to
all right.
one of these yet. Okay.
Okay, so we're here with Mason,
Hello.
owner of Cardinal Gaming. You guys probably already know him. He
No,
has a
maybe not.
large channel on YouTube. Or should I call you Emperor Scalpatine?
Whatever you prefer.
I just watched that video today. That was amazing.
Wow,
It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, it's great. Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah, it was a great sketch. I would love to see more of those. I thought it was great.
I would love to make more if I ever had the chance where people weren't calling me 24/7. But hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for having me on. This is
Of
great.
course. I'm very excited about this entire week, but I'm especially excited to be able to talk to you today about everything Mason. We have a lot to talk about, but I'm assuming there might be at least a few people in my audience who don't know who you are, potentially.
Oh, definitely. I probably would say, yeah.
So if you can give us the rundown, especially on the Cardinal Gaming side of it, like the business side of it, like how did you go from, I think you started as like a small operation out of like an office to now multiple locations, big store conglomerate, Walmart essentially at this point. How did you get to where you are now?
Okay. Like a Dollar General, maybe more than a Walmart, but that's fine. So I own 2 game stores in Louisville, Kentucky, Cardinal Gaming. Started out with a partner. He was doing video games. I was doing Pokemon. We kind of smushed those 2 things together and created a game store. So we do video games, trading cards, nerdy anime stuff, card supplies, video games, Gundams, all that, all the nerdy things, all smushed together in one store. So that's what we've been doing. Been doing that for 9 years, and I do YouTube, talk about what it's like owning a game store, particularly Pokemon, and things from like distribution side and like how it is to run a business and like what we do, strategies like that. So that's kind of like my claim to fame and the whole purpose of the channel. So that's what I do. That's why I'm here, and I love talking to Java about everything.
Well, thank you.
To try to talk him off a ledge of opening his own store. So
we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight too.
Love it.
Yes, there is a link above the chat. If you're not already subscribed to Cardinal Gaming, you should absolutely do that on YouTube. So
it's up there.
But yeah, exactly, up that way.
Cool.
But if you could go a little bit further into kind of how like the evolution of the store itself. So I know you guys started much smaller and then you grew to where you're at. And I think some people have delusions of grandeur of like, we just got into Pokemon. It's popping off. We're going to open a game store. Let's get a 1,500 square foot spot in the strip mall. And that's where we're going to start. So
that's what I hear. That's what I hear from a lot of people, especially right now. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you evolve kind of more slowly?
Yeah.
And not as crazy into owning a store?
Yeah. So I was selling, actually, it started out with selling my own collection. I have stepkids that I inherited. They found my old cards. They're like, hey, these are cool. They actually started playing the TCG right around black and white, like Plasma era, kind of like that boundaries crossed kind of era of like cards. And they stopped playing, as people do. But we had a lot of fun during the time. So then I had all these cards, right? I had all these cards that we had accumulated in my old collection and things like that. And I was like, okay, let's see. I paid a lot of money for these. Let's see if they have any value. So I went on eBay, and I was like, oh, yeah. People buy these things. People buy the common stuff. People buy the hollows. All these older stuff has value. Wow, okay. Let's start selling these off. And then I was like, oh, well, Craigslist at the time, way back, Craigslist. Uh, People have collections and they're selling cards on there all the time. Why don't I buy stuff from other people, then flip them and sell them and do that kind of stuff? So I started doing that and had my little side gig going on of selling cards. So got that kind of established and going, and then with my business partner Zach. He was doing just eBay out of his garage, selling video games. Again, we got a little office space, shoved all the stuff together, had like a home base for us to ship out of, list out of, and then we were had a place for people to come in and sell stuff to us too. Did that for maybe a couple months before we outgrew it. Finally got an actual like retail spot. The guy said it was 700 square feet. There's no way it was 700 square feet. It was small enough to put glass displays like you would in a normal shop, in like a horseshoe shape, and that was about all the space that there was. There was no other space. Things were piled to the ceiling behind those glass displays. Like, it was just chaos because we had just so much stuff. If you wanted to, you could maybe put like a 6-foot table in between the glass cases for people to sit down and play if we wanted to do that, but it wasn't feasible. So I did that for probably another couple months before we outgrew that, until we moved on into a bigger spot. It was 1,300 square feet, somewhere in that range, which was and is a decent size for a store. But I had an opportunity to move into a local chain that was closing down in a local like strip mall kind of place. They were doing records and vinyl and all kinds of crazy like stuff, as well as like games and other types of media. So it was a really great opportunity. It was probably more than what we could afford at the time, but we thought we'd grow into it, so no big deal. And so we grew into that spot and took that over, and has been in that spot for our main location. It's 7,000 square feet, so lots of space to play around and do things and tear things tear things down and put walls up and tear those walls back down again. And we've done that a couple times, and into the iteration that we are currently. So that's where we're at. We have the second location, so it's kind of like a satellite store. It kind of has the best of what we have at the main location, but the main location still does a lot of the like where the card sorting goes on. Our TCG player inventory is 170,000 cards currently, so that's where that is at the new cut location. And then we do kind of all the other kind of type operations, repairs. We moved into doing that and have that as an offering of like game console repairs, video games repairs, those type of things. And that's where we're at currently, kind of. Lots of things in between there, but
how long into being in the first larger location were you able to then start a second location? Like, how long were you in that location before?
The second location, it was very much the store that the Boom built. When Pokemon took off and we were doing that, that's really what kind of catapulted us into the ability to do that and wanted to do that. So that's kind of the idea and what kind of spurred us into having even the funds to kind of do that kind of build out.
And that was 2021, somewhere in the
that would have been, yeah, would have been, yeah, kind of like October of 2021.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
So, yeah, beautiful store.
So with the Boom, you felt like you had enough success during that Boom time that you felt like you needed to expand to a second location. And are the locations far enough apart that you're not like stepping on each other's toes? Like,
yeah. The one's across town. It's about a 30-minute drive from one to the other. So it's pretty good spread.
Interesting.
But yeah, we really felt like that was a good move. How to grow, kind of capture a wider audience. A lot of people would say, "Oh, this is awesome because I don't have to drive as far," because people were very much, making the drive to the main location, but having something closer out this way, definitely people preferred and was making it easier for them to come to us more often. So that was kind of the idea, for sure.
Cool. Let's say hi to some chat members, and then we can jump into some more questions. So we have iFOMO. We have Spat saying late. We've got Kai. Is that card in the mall gaming?
Yeah.
We got Thrifty, Boondock, Chef,
Hmm.
Alice, Shug, Nan P. What's up, guys? Hoodoo's also here. Make sure that you guys, if you have any questions, make sure you put it in the chat. This is as much an
Yeah.
FAQ for you guys as it
Yeah.
is for me.
I want
So
saucy questions, hard
yeah.
hitters. I want no softballs. I want only fast pitches. Throw it at me.
Shug Nasty wants to open a Japan branch in Okinawa. Cardinal Gaming Okinawa.
Man, I can't even get Shug to send me stuff. I don't even want to talk about. No, Shug. No, you won't take my money before, and you're definitely not going to get it now. How about that?
Oh man.
Hmm.
Okay, so you have talked me a little further off the ledge a few times because there have definitely been some close calls on me potentially opening a store for myself. And we have Hoodoo, who just recently opened a store with a couple of partners
Yeah, it's
in the
exciting.
Northeast area. And there seemed to be a lot of just don't do it. um, and I wonder, is it, do you think, does that answer come from the like you definitely don't know what you're getting yourself into, so don't do it? Or is it don't do it because I have done it and it wouldn't be the way that I would have done it if I could go back?
That's a very good deduction for sure. If I could do this entire run over, would I do it exactly the same way? Absolutely not. No, there's a lot of things I would change. But yeah, that's more of the place it comes from. Would you be able to open a card shop and be successful? I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that at all. I'm telling you right now. But could you have more success or do potentially bigger and better things and have better control over your life and being able to weather ups and downs and the overall market if you just maybe expanded what you were doing or stuck to what you were doing, make more connections, maybe grow that way as opposed to just opening a game store and being stuck in a lease for somewhere for 5 years and you know uh, there's lots of struggles and headaches and shackles that come with having a physical location, dealing with customers face to face, and then having to be open and manning that store. And if you're not manning that store, how are you making money otherwise? Because if your doors aren't open, how are you making money? That type of stuff. It's very complex. When you add a physical location that you also have to affect and think about the cost of, and every day you're on a clock of how okay how am I gonna make rent next month? That type of thing. It adds to the complexity of that situation a lot. Whereas what you're doing now, I buy stuff, I sell stuff. I'm not really in a hurry. It's fine. I'm making money. I'm growing my business. I'm building up I'm building up my bankroll.
Mhm.
That's if it's working. Why would you want to throw all these potential complications into it? That's the only thing I ever tell and try to like. That's the actual on top of the joking. Like
Yeah.
that's the actual my concern for people is like, do you need to open a game store? Is really what it comes down to. Not should you or should I not. Do you need to?
I think a lot of people's I guess argument or knee jerk reaction to that would be, oh well, if I open a spot, then there'll be more opportunities for walk-ins, for collection buying and sourcing and all
Mhm.
that stuff, and that it in itself will justify the store being open. Is the more connections and sourcing that I can do having a physical location, having things come into me instead of having to search those things out. Do you
Yeah.
think that that makes sense, or is that an over simplification of that side of things?
Um, there's lots of ways that could look like. You know, lots of people. Yes, you don't want a bunch of people coming to your house to buy and sell things. Obviously, that makes sense, right? But there's lots of other ways. You can get a nice flex space. An office space. Maybe that you can also do what you're doing currently. Get a little office space with a little little front walkway room for you to do buys if you want to do that. And then you don't have to worry about manning that area or having that for like walk-in traffic and have to like have employees that are like stationed out there to do stuff. It's just, as needed. You can do what you're doing exactly now. Just have a place to meet up with people. That's the
Mm.
next step, right? You can do all these things and have these incremental steps instead of going like, all right, I'm going to buy a 3,000 square foot store. Let's go off of just maybe doing something online or something like
Yeah.
that. The smarter way to do it is to frog jump your way up incrementally and make sure that your idea that you have in your brain, in your brain space, is going to project and make you money. And you do that by easing into it, not by snowballing into a again, potentially several $100,000 sinkhole that you may or may not be able to get out of if you want to.
Yeah. That makes sense. The idea of a flex space, even like shared office spaces or those office buildings that are like a whole bunch of different private offices,
Yeah,
even those are, in terms of overhead nowadays, I feel like those are even more quite expensive as well.
they can be, yeah. But there are some places, look around. Obviously, you want one in a good spot that's high traffic potentially, or at least easy to get to, right? You don't
Yeah.
want anything out of the way or like in some big industrial complex. But you want, something that's reasonable, something that's relatively in a good area. Uh, maybe it's an office. I know there's lots of office spaces that have several workrooms or something like that, or
Mm.
warehouse space that has like a showroom up front. Lots of people are doing that kind of thing, so you can kind of have some storage and then do it. Just have like a little office, like I said, kind of like an entryway into doing that. Lots of
Yeah.
space like that, and that's relatively cheap. Lots of good options like that. The only thing that you're missing out on that is any sort of like if you wanted to start doing like organized play or something like that. That's
Mm.
the only issue that you would arise from doing something like that. But even then, most organized play programs only need some place for I think 4 or 8 players. I think it varies between each game, but doesn't have to be big. Doesn't have to be something crazy. Throw up some tables. Um, plastic tables with folding chairs is absolutely fine for most cases. Don't go crazy. Don't go expensive. Make it reasonable. Grow into it if you wanted to do something like that.
So apart from overhead, like
Mm,
employees,
yeah.
rent, that type of stuff, what are some of the other hidden costs, money or otherwise, like time or mental or anything like that, of opening a game store that people um, who aspire to one day haven't thought about? Do you think
Yeah. So when do most people want to go to a game store?
when they have money to spend, or
Well,
when a new set comes
time
out?
frame. Let's talk about time frame. Talk time of the day. What do most people want
Oh,
to do? When they get off work,
yeah,
people work during the day. Most game stores are not open at 9 o'clock in the morning. My store opens at noon, and that's early for my customers. You know, gamers aren't notorious for waking up early, and they certainly aren't going out to buy any time before noon. So, yeah, we open at noon, and then we stay open until 8. On weekends, we go till 10. That is a huge personal burden on you, on your toll, your relationships, your family. You have kids. This probably ain't gonna be a great thing. I couldn't imagine having a game store being away from your entire family, the entire waking hours of the day, and then coming home at 10 o'clock at night for what? Like what? Like that's miserable. That's a terrible existence. If you have young kids, that's a huge burden on your partner, making them do that and take care of the kids and during all that time. That's a lot of that's a big ask. You know, uh, it's that is an entirely separate toll that people do not factor. Think, oh, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna deal with the things I love. Yeah, and you're gonna be away from your family, the most important time, and during the hours that you need to be there and have obligations.
yeah,
So then what do? You got to get an employee, or maybe somebody that works part time. Maybe you want to leave at 6 o'clock every day. Okay, somebody that is going to watch the shop as during the last couple hours. Maybe part time. Maybe after they get off work, right? They have a second job. Uh, you know, you got to be able to keep them busy. You got to give them something to do. You got to make sure that they are earning their keep, right? Library is not cheap. I have doubled my employee salaries in the amount of time that I've been open. I started, and my starting wage was $8 an hour pre-COVID, right? That's just how it was here in Kentucky. That's not fantastic money, but it's okay, right? Now I start at 15, and that's not great, not wholly terrible, but it's it's okay.
Mhm.
So $15 an hour equates very neatly to a quarter for every minute. So I need an employee to make me a quarter every minute to justify their existence, or else I'm
Hmm.
losing money.
Yeah, that's an
So,
interesting way of looking at it.
so there's that. Let's think about that for a little bit. So all those things, all those types of things that people don't think of. Other stuff, um, fixtures, loadouts. This is expendables. Like obviously you're going through shipping mailers, things like that. How about plastic bags that you are going to be using for your store? How about you know, if you're shipping larger things and operations like that, you have to buy cardboard boxes. Cardboard boxes are somewhere between 60 cents to $3, depending on which size they are. That's an expense that nobody really talks about. When you have to ship a case and put in another box, and it's an odd-shaped box, they're expensive unless you buy them in like thousands of quantity, and then that's thousands of dollars you're putting out because they're $3 per thousand. That's $3,000 for one size box. Like that's a lot of money just to be thrown out there with expectations of getting your use back out of it.
Yeah.
So all those things, all that type of stuff. Yeah, tape, printer
So
paper, all that adds up.
so one thing with adding employees that I feel like has to be a worry is trust that they're not going to steal from you, right? And
Yeah,
how do you know, or how do you gauge when you're hiring somebody, whether or not you're going to be able to trust them to close the store at night or open the store in the morning or be alone with the merchandise that you have in store?
yeah. I mean that's it's a hard thing for sure. You, I don't know if you ever fully get into that position. I've been extremely fortunate, and I have safeguards in place, and maybe that's part of it preventing it. But like, I've never, to my knowledge, had anybody steal any sort of like large quantifiable thing, which is awesome, right? But again, as far as I know, right? Who knows? That's the
Right.
thing. Things go missing. Pack counts fall off. Booster boxes sometimes just disappear. And I'm assuming, hey, maybe they just opened them for packs or something. They forgot to take the number out. I don't know, right? There's no way of knowing. That's the thing. Theft in general is just kind of just something that you lump into the cost of doing business.
Mm.
And yeah, you just have to put safeguards in place. You have to run your business like an actual business. You want to think everybody's your friend. Everybody's, you know, it's very cliche to say family, but like, hey, I I love all these people that are working for me. I love being able to provide for them and having them rely on me. I also rely on them, right? Because yeah, like today, I was off. 2 stores had to open and close without me.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trust, you know. That's 2 ways to get fired from me: is you either steal from me or you don't show up. Like I got to have you show up, and I can't have you stealing from me.
Yeah.
That one's pretty self-explanatory. But the most times that I have to fire an employee is because they literally won't show up or won't show up on time, and that is mind-boggling to me. But hey, uh, no one's going to care about this business as much as I do. I say that all the
True.
time. You as an owner, your employee does not care. It is a job to them. Maybe they do. I mean, let's give them a little more credit. They're going to care a lot more than if they were working at a Target, right? But I would hope so. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not their stuff. It's not their money. It's you know, it's uh, they're there to work a job.
Yeah. That makes sense. That would be. I feel like that whole. I feel like I would have to get used to my maybe adjusting my expectations.
Sure.
When you were first hiring people, was there a feeling or an expectation of like this guy is going to work as hard as me? And then when you see like, oh, they're not, and that's okay,
Hmm.
because no one's going to work as hard as me. Was there
Correct.
an adjustment period for you? when you were hiring your first people of like, okay, I kind of understand now, like what having
Yeah.
an employee is like versus what I want to do for my business.
Yeah, it's rough. Like expectations, if I have a just retail level employee, what do I expect from them? What kind of metrics do I expect? How do I come up with that type of information? No. One thing we always look at is and trying to gauge whether or not people are, you know, uh, pulling weight. Let's say as like a not nice way to say it, but um, okay, if we sit them down with a 5-row box and I'm having them condition these cards, how many cards should I expect them to condition in half an hour, an hour? How do you come up with that number? How do I even gauge what's a good quantifiable thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to run the numbers. Hey, this person is doing 1,000 cards an hour. This person's only doing 250. What's up with that? How do we get that person up there? Or do I just expect 250 from everybody? Do I tell them that? Do I say that and say, hey, I want you to do at least 250 an hour so that they do 250 in 15 minutes and they slack off for another 45?
Yeah, true.
It's
Yeah.
it's a rough it's a rough thing to gauge and a hard thing to hold people accountable to
Yeah.
because you want to be clear about what your expectations are, but you also want people to stay busy, right? Stay working, have something that they need to be working on.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Would you advise? So let's say I'm opening a shop. I've made the decision.
Yes.
Um, because I feel like you've opened one store in a non-boom period. You've opened one store in a boom period.
Sure.
So my question is, would you advise people to open a store in a boom period or in a non-boom period, and why?
Open in a non-boom period so that when the boom period happens, you're poised to take advantage of that. And then you have a baseline of like, okay, in a normal situation, what's my expectations of like income, turnover, things like that. If you open in a boom, you have unrealistic expectations so that when things slow and that money revenue stops coming in as fast, then you're like, oh, we need to make some changes. So I would always say that average it out, work it down to your slowest month of the year, your slowest expectations, and have that be your baseline. And then anything on top of that is a bonus, right? And then you use that type of money to like snowball and to grow and do better stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, totally. I could think of like the expectations you would have, or if you're starting in a market where there's so much demand, there's so much money being spent and everything, you get this expectation, and then all of a sudden, I wonder how many stores close that when they come in, they're like, we're opening a store, we've got all this stuff, we're in a boom, and then all of a sudden, right after, it's
Yeah,
gone. And how do you weather that storm?
I have seen it happen. I have
Yeah,
seen just as many stores open and close in my 9 years of existence than people that are existing.
no,
I would say that number is exponentially higher. Um,
interesting.
I can immediately tell if somebody is building an actual viable business versus, hey, we're just here to ride the wave.
Yeah,
Um, and obviously, those types of things have severe implications for those people.
yeah,
Um, they run out of money, they get stuck in leases, have to declare bankruptcy. They have to, um, people that pre-order things and can't fulfill them. I had a guy that did that and just ran off with money. Just insanity, right?
yikes.
People that were just had no business of actually starting a business. And I will admit, we had no business starting a business with the amount of money and capital that we had. But you know, uh, it's that type of dedication you have to work, and you have to, again, the dedication has to be there in order to work 80 hours a week.
Yeah,
You know, when I was opening my second store, I was there at 3 o'clock in the morning, the day before, making sure everything was ready to go. Like, yeah, that's it. That's what it takes. If you
yeah,
don't want to do that, this ain't for you, dog.
yeah, yeah. You gotta invest in it, time and money and effort.
Both.
And
A
all
lot of
that
a lot of
stuff.
both. A lot of
Yeah.
both. Yes.
All right, let's hit some questions because we do have some questions. How much bulk are you sitting on right now? Well, physically
Um,
or metaphorically?
I mean, I could. I thought about it.
Yeah.
I have done that in videos. Um, right now I probably have somewhere in the range of 1.5 million Pokemon. I still have a lot more Pokemon than I do most things. Magic we get through pretty good. In fact, I wish I had more Magic currently. So I probably only have like 500,000 of that. But it's a lot of it's like stuff I've already gone through. I know there's not anything of value there. Um, the robots are pretty efficient about doing that with Magic. So yeah, we have to Magic. We sell a lot of it, so we have to keep that in stock and kind of like keep a fresh rotation going. And that's a struggle. It can be. Um, there's, you know, in the city of Louisville, I'm sure there is 50 million Magic cards. How do I get those cards in my shop? Right? Like, how do I
Yeah.
get people to bring them to me? That's the struggle. That's the hard part. So that's something I'm gonna have to focus on and try to get and see what kind of incentives or what I can do to get people to bring good unprocessed bulk so I can feed it through my robots and make money. Because right now I'm getting kind of low. I think I only have like 3 stacks of Magic that I have not gone through as far as like value sifting. It's scary.
Out of my own personal interest, I guess.
Mm.
How do those sets like the SpongeBob set and the Fallout set, how do those sets do in comparison to like what is it, Takir or whatever was the one that came out with the dragons?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the kind of the fun sets that they've been collaborating with other IPs with. I really like those. I think they're really cool. But how does the Magic community react to those? Or do you see Magic people buying them, or do you see people non-Magic people buying them for more collectors?
yeah. Um, they're called Universes Beyond, is what they
Mm,
the properties with the IPs that are not traditional Magic sets. They're called Universes Beyond. The idea is that Magic exists on planes, right? There's all these planes that they go to. Like Tarkir is a plane. Um, Ravnica is a plane. All these places are planes. Final Fantasy is a plane.
mm,
Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth is a plane that we can also go to. All these people can go to, right?
yeah,
So that's how they kind of interweave it and kind of justify it. It's kind of like ideal for like interlacing those type of things together. So Universes Beyond is and should be seen as outreach into other spheres of people that may not traditionally play Magic. Games like Tarkir are the planes that like Tarkir. Those are like traditional, old school, like original property Magic sets. Those
mm,
are for Magic. Those are for existing Magic players. And of course, yeah, there's tons of people that love Magic and also love Fallout, right? And they're like, "Oh shit, this is crazy! I love this." Uh, that also is like double whammies, right? Because it's people that are already invested in the game, and then they're like, "Oh man, I have to go. I'm going to be spending so much money on this set because I love this too, right?" So it kind of gets both sides, but Universes Beyond is the outreach for these other type of uh, getting people to play Magic that otherwise wouldn't be able to be reached because they don't care. They have blinders on. They don't think about it. But when they see IGN make a post, they're like, "Oh shit, SpongeBob's coming to Magic." Yeah, it may be at the cost of the people that think it's corny or lame, but that's how games continue to grow. That's how people continue to acquire new players.
yeah,
Uh, for every person that leaves because SpongeBob exists on a Magic card, how many people did they gain off of that, or think that it was like cool, or even this like embraced the goofiness? People think of Magic as way too serious, way more than what clearly Hasbro even thinks of. Like it's supposed to be fun. We're having a fun game. It's we're having a great time,
yeah,
and people need to let that go and like let the seriousness of the game go. There's lots of serious stuff in the sets. There's lots of like obviously like morbid things and gore and things like that and all that kind of stuff. Not as much as it used to be from back in the day, but like mature, right? There's mature themes
yeah,
to the game. Um, they can have both. Both can exist, and Magic infamously said, if you don't like something and it's not for you, then don't buy it. I think the connotation there is like, look, we're doing a lot of things to try to make the brand grow and survive. If you don't like it, don't buy it, and then we'll know not to do that in the future,
mm,
right? But they're going to
yeah,
be experimenting. Um, you cannot say that Magic is not trying to innovate and change things and do more outreach to grow their game. They have definitely spending lots and lots of money on these universes beyond that I think is acquiring a lot of people, and people are getting into it. And
Yeah,
people buy them. People buy them. They do. Like, obviously, Lord of the Rings is like the quintessential, like, oh my god, what a great grab, right? Like, what an awesome thing that is like very in theme, on brand for Magic. Like, it's a no-brainer. Um, I would say like Final Fantasy is kind of like the same kind of vein. Same like old school era like PS2 like
fantasy. Yeah.
players fantasy. There's a lot more there than what I think people will give it credit for. I think they'd be surprised at like how interweaving they're gonna do with the set of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like you literally have mana that you're tapping to cast spells.
Hmm.
And then you literally have that in Final Fantasy. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not that bizarre of a
Yeah.
stretch, you know. So, very excited about that. I think a lot of people are too. It's gonna be insane. It could be bigger or just as big as Lord of the Rings, and I think it
Yeah.
definitely again reaches a different type of people that maybe didn't play Magic before, but will be definitely at least buying a commander deck or buying a starter deck, something like that. I see it all the time. It's great.
Yeah.
It's as a game store, it's great because people look at it and be like, "Oh shit, what the hell? Lord of the Rings was in Magic? What the hell? Assassin's Creed? What? This is crazy. This is
Yeah.
yeah. Give me a couple packs of that." People do that all the time, and obviously people see it in Targets and WalMarts and on GameStops and all those places too. Amazing for outreach, like so good. A great investment. It is such a obvious looking back way to do it and like build, especially with Hasbro that has all these properties and all these IPs that they can already tap.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then they have the money to actually go and acquire and like, hey, Final Fantasy, I know you already have a TCG, but we want to bring you into Magic. And like, how much money is this going to take?
Yeah. I mean, I've really never been into Magic, but when Lord of the Rings came out and those what do they call them, poster cards or whatever,
Yeah,
those like 80s style heavy metal poster cards that they created, they
yeah,
look so cool. I love the
yeah.
artwork on them.
And that's bizarre. Like that's not Lord of the Rings traditional, right? Those are two different concepts that they've combined together to make something really cool and unique.
Yeah.
Um, level three things, right? Because it's Magic as well. So they took Magic, like rock posters, and Lord of the Rings, smashed into a card, and
Yeah.
people love them. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be that type of weird stuff that coming together that are going to be either a hit or the people are going like, I don't know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, but sometimes it clicks and it works, right? So
Yeah.
kudos to them for like they're trying. Nobody can say that they're not trying.
All right. Hoodoo has a question.
I love
Friendliest
this.
game player base, most
Yeah,
annoying, smelliest, fun to have in.
yeah. Um, okay. Friendliest is it's definitely. I mean, it's got to be Pokemon. It's got to be as far as like people that like, hey, somebody walks up at the table like, hey, what are you guys playing? The Pokemon people are going to tell you exactly like we're playing Pokemon. See, I got my Charizard. Look at what and they're gonna be excited to like share that because it's for one a not hyper competitive game. It's like there for fun, right? Like we're just hanging out, having a good time. Um, like Magic people will probably not be like how do you explain Magic to somebody that walking up at the table? You know, it's not very easy. Um, Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of like fun just because Yu-Gi-Oh people will like play into it, even though it's like kind of cringe to some people. But like they're gonna be like, you know, how many times people just yell phrases from the anime in my store when they're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it happens all the time. So like I don't know, it's kind of fun and engaging in that regard too. So I don't know. Uh the least friendly is probably got to be like I don't know, probably like One Piece people. If I'm being honest, I don't know what it is. They're just not very like they're kind of not about like promoting the game. I don't know what that is or what the vibe is with that. Just in my experience, I haven't seen that, which is kind of weird.
Hmm.
Annoying is definitely Yu-Gi-Oh people. Definitely smelliest is definitely Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, Yeah, most fun. Most fun. I mean, you can be smelly and annoying and still be fun. Like Yu-Gi-Oh people have their place in a game store. I'm not saying that they don't. Um, I don't know. Magic people that are really into it too, they can be a lot of fun too, just because they kind of ham it up and play into it. They react to a lot of things, especially in like Commander, when somebody pops off and does something crazy. That's kind of fun to watch and listen to. So, uh, yeah, it's people that are into the game. I think it's really what it comes down to is like people that are enjoying themselves and having a great time and willing to acknowledge that they're having fun and playing a game, uh, and that they're really passionate about. That's just makes a good environment, no matter what the game is.
So it sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh, you got some work to do, but and One
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Piece maybe be a little bit more welcoming.
Yu-Gi-Oh people are, I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh people are a special breed. I'll tell you that. They're just
Oh man. This is a question. I don't. Maybe you can answer this.
sure,
It. How much is it to pay a mortgage on a shop versus a lease in the U.S.? I guess this is. I mean, a lease is typically less expensive than if you bought a building, which would
sure,
be a
yeah,
more, or I mean, you'd have to have a lot more upfront money for a mortgage because a
correct,
lease is basically just renting.
yeah, um, yeah, and that's the thing about where you want to when you're stuck in a mortgage and your store fails, you are in a far worse situation than
Oh yeah,
if you are just like if I declared bankruptcy, would people let me out of my leases? Probably. Uh, I am personally guaranteed on those leases, so they could, if they wanted to, hound me for the money. Like, good luck. But like, because hey, you took my source of income, or I lost my source of income, so good luck. But um, I don't know. That's the only thing is like, yeah, mortgages are just you better be damn sure you're gonna be there for 20 years or whatever the amount of time. That's what you want to do for 20 years.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, that's why. I mean, most businesses lease. I mean, most especially most small businesses lease. One because of the capital, and two just because uh, I don't know if I'm going to be open next year, let alone 20 years from now. you know,
yeah.
who knows what could happen?
Timmy asked this the other night as well. I think it's a great question
Mhm.
for owning a store too. How do you deal with burnout in terms of prevention, working through it, and resolving it? Do you ever get burnt out working so much at the store, and do you take vacations? Blow off some steam somehow. How do you get your mind right to go into the store every day?
I guess if I come home and I play the card store simulator, I guess that's a sign that I'm not burnt out. I guess that's probably a sign that if I've been burnt out, I don't know if I was like really in the depths of it. Sure it happens, or there's stuff that I don't want to do, or um, it's kind of neat because the day to day, sure, can be kind of like a lot of the same stuff, but there's always new releases coming up. There's always new stuff popping off. Games are always constantly coming out with new sets and stuff to keep on top of. So it's kind of like I don't want to say burnout proof. It's definitely not burnout proof, but there's so much going on and so much changing all the time that there's always something to take your attention off the day to day and like to look forward to and kind of like I really love like new releases. I really think they're fun. Like pre-releases from Pokemon is like the most fun. Um, I would far take a bunch of kids and people playing casually with a 40 card deck of Pokemon than people that are hyper competitive. I do love those events too and running those type of events, but I have more fun personally when people come up and like make these jank decks and try to make their favorite Pokemon work, even though it's like four types of different color energy, and you try to tell them like, it's probably not a good idea, but they try it anyways, right?
Yeah,
It's not about winning at that point. It's about people having fun and having a good time. So that's the most good natured part of it, and kind of also keeps you grounded and like seeing people enjoy what you built and having fun in your store um, relieves a lot of that type of burnout. Burnout happens when you kind of disconnect from the human elements of things. People that come in and buy stuff, people that come in and like, hey, wow, you have this card that I've been looking for. Damn, finally, I get this card. That's huge. Like, emotionally, that's huge. I think a lot of this burnout and people like that end up hating their store or even like resenting that they have it, um, need to get out on the floor more and enjoy like the people that are coming in and talking to them and being like, hey, what are you guys out doing today? What are you guys like? What are you guys excited for? Hey, you play? What games do you play? Oh, are you looking forward to the Team Rocket set? Isn't that crazy? You see that new release? You see that Chinese Arcanine? Isn't that crazy?
yeah,
Like, how can you be burnt out when you have that type of interactions? If you don't want those type of interactions, then you're just in the wrong business.
Yeah.
I think, frankly. Yeah.
As another great question, do your employees do collection buys? And if so,
Mhm.
do you have a template they use to follow buying practices, or do you just trust them with it?
Yeah. Can I share my screen?
Potentially.
Is that something that you want me to do, or do you not want me to do that?
Yeah, you can if you want. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you guys behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah. Perfect.
We have a spreadsheet that it's an Excel spreadsheet that they kind of like put numbers into, and it spits out card values. So, Java, if you'd be okay with me showing that,
Yeah. I don't know
I
how
will.
to do it, but
Here, here. Let me see if I can present. Let me see.
yeah, if you can present.
Share screen. Uh, um, if I do entire screen, okay, I can do that way. Okay. Um,
Oh, there you go. Cool.
How about this?
Got it.
Cool, huh? So this is our buy guide. We have stuff that we don't pay on. This is the offers when we do bulk. It's calculated there. So what this is, if we need to put the card name, we can put a Charizard. Trade in Charizard. Chari. And then you put the value here. And then you select what game it is. It's going to auto-populate all those things. And it's going to give an offer into... Wow. Ooh. This is... Streaming this apparently is very laggy. Hello? What is happening? Damn. Imagine showing something and then it not working. Isn't that crazy?
That's okay.
Try a different sheet. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. I don't know what is happening on that one. That one was busted. But so we have this magic that we put in the value, and it spits out our cash offer and our credit offer, and then the total off to the side over here. And then we have like a guide where we kind of have like a safeguard. If somebody wants to sell us a $100 card, they say, hey, you need a manager to approve this. Come out, and we'll have a manager approve it. So we have a little section down here for them to put a manager to come through, make sure it's conditioned correctly, and then it spits out the offer down there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a way for them, like a little safeguard for them to kind of like require oversight on that type of thing. So, yeah, but this is what they use, and it's built off of our little card sheet, card buy rates. So the value of what the card is here. This is our pay percentage on it. So anything that's less than $2, we don't pay anything on, 0%. But if it's $2, $3, we pay 20%, and then they go up, right? So at $50, that's like our max. We pay 70%, and it's calculated on the sheet. So that's how they do it. That's the secret. So,
and are they looking at TCG player like market price? Is that what they go by, or what are they going by for? Okay.
Yeah, we do TCG player market or lowest listed, whichever is lowest. Just kind of like to be safe. But that is a buy guide that we built ourselves. So this is
cool.
Not an easy way to do it. Took some work to do, but it's very changeable, very easy to do on the fly, and yeah, that's what we use. So
nice.
Come up with something like that, Benji, if you want to have an easy way to calculate this stuff, even just for you. It's super nice to have, and takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. If you just want to have a buy rate, a lot of places will do like, hey, we'll pay 50% on no matter what card is. That's really dumb, and it's really silly to pay 50% on a $3 card. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if they're getting $1.50 for that card. It's a $3 card. Pay that 20-30%, and they're gonna be fine. And obviously that allows you to also pay really well on stuff. So make money where you can, and then pay the best you can within those margins. Because we saw on direct, maybe you want to pay a little bit more aggressively on lower end stuff. We can't, just because direct and how that type of functions. We can't be super aggressive, but maybe you can. So obviously, make your percentages how you want them to be. But that's how we do it. That's how the sausage is made.
Cool.
As far as like what we pay and stuff like that.
Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This a fun one, but kind of leads into a question that I have. Have you started training Krav Maga to deal with scalpers?
Krav Maga. What the hell is
So
What is that?
it's
What
like
is that?
a martial art.
Oh, wow. Um, we have
It's like
not.
a self-defense martial art, I think.
Yeah. Less to deal with scalpers and more to deal with like crackheads potentially. Maybe we want to look into that, but no, yeah. Scalpers are kind of like whatever. Um,
Yeah.
we sell at market, and that's the way that we do business. I don't worry about scalpers because buy out my shell. Heard you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Buy everything.
Buy everything on market. We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Solid.
So it's just kind of
Yeah.
like
Um, I didn't read that was scalpers. I thought that was something else. But what
what? Okay.
I know would have been some of your scarier encounters in store, but I'm curious
Mm,
because obviously security is one of the things you have to think of when you have a store.
yeah.
Where
A lot of
locations,
people
how are
don't.
you going to lock it down? Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people
Um,
don't.
what have been some of the scarier encounters in terms of security that your store has experienced, or either of your stores, really?
Yeah. They say that being robbed at gunpoint is a once in a lifetime event in retail. We had it twice in 1 month. Uh,
Same people,
no, it was not the
Di-
same people.
different people.
Yeah. So that was a thing that happened. Uh, but yeah, it's just I mean, the reality is that you do your best, right? And you try to make a safe environment with all the precautions that you need. Um, and those type of situations prompted us to do so much more, right? That some people know, some people don't know. But there's nothing I can do as an employer to prevent somebody from walking in with a gun and robbing me. There's nothing I can like. Realistically, there is nothing I can do to prevent that from happening. So, what do? You do mitigation. You try to make it. We talk about it. You know, we like go through the scenario of what to do with employees. We put things like panic buttons in place. Call police immediately, like you would see at a bank or something like that. All those things are things that you can do. It's not going to stop it from happening. It's not. Like there's nothing you can do to stop certain things from happening. So the biggest thing is just talking about it, making sure that if it happens, people know what to do. Thank God, haven't had anything like that since then. So it's you know it is extremely rare. But I'm big on outward projection as far as like deterrence. As far as like, hey, yeah, look, I have bars on my windows. I hate it. I don't want that to be a thing, but I'll be damned if it's not effective on keeping people from breaking my fucking windows. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I have a scissor gate that goes across my main entrance because I have glass doors. Never had an incident since then, since I've had those in. Uh, I, you can have like security bars that you can like screw into doors and they kind of lock into place on the inside and it goes against the door frame.
Oh yeah.
It is literally impossible to open that door at that point once it's in place and it's locked. Um, had a situation that produced or saved us from having to break in. Uh, that's the type of stuff that every inch of any sort of issue that you could be potentially have, you need to be thinking about and taking measures to prevent. Um, Sometimes you learn along the way. Um, you know, if you don't have locks on your card cases, like that's a silly no-no that people are like, oh, it takes a long time to open them up. It's a hassle. That's the point. That's the point. It's supposed to be a hassle.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a hassle for you, and it's a hassle for somebody else trying to get into them. So, uh, yeah, that's the point. So, yeah, stuff like that. There's lots of stuff, especially now. People know cards are expensive. Things have values. People see the crazy prices on things. Yeah, it's something that you have to be very vigilant about, uh, and just put things in place so you don't have to worry as much. I sleep pretty soundly at night, not having to worry about my store being broken into because I know every entrance is secure.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's good.
yeah, so that's the type of stuff that, yeah, it kind of sucks, and you hate to see it, and you kind of hate having to do those type of measures in a game store. It's supposed to be a fun and community place for people to come and hang out in, but uh, it is what it is, and it's not just like, yeah, my store's in a bad area. No, it's just everywhere. Or the potential,
Yeah.
the opportunity to be broken into anywhere exists. So,
Yeah. Chef has a question.
hmm,
Would you ever have a dual role employee that streamed from your store but also helped before and after?
sure, yeah, absolutely. Um,
Have you tried streaming at all? Apart, I know you do
hmm,
for like new releases and stuff, but have you ever had an employee try on like Whatnot or something like that? Is it?
I have not, but obviously that's something I do want to look into. Have people already in mind trying to do that, and it will be happening. It will be a thing for
Hmm.
sure. Um, how you do it, how you do it right, how do you make sure that it makes sense? How do you make sure that you can justify paying that person and also, you know, make money and not lose money doing it? There's
Hmm.
lots of things like that you have to worry about. So, um, yeah, it's definitely. I would say I think Nick was on the other night and he said um, live streaming is like the future. I believe that as well, and for game stores as well. I think
Yeah.
that is a very obvious thing. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool concept of like, hey, I'm wearing a GoPro. I'm walking around my store. What do you guys want? Like, what are you buying? Like, what do you, like if you see something, go on my website and buy it. That type of thing. That'd be so cool to do.
Yeah. Nick was talking about that last night where
Hmm.
apparently Whatnot streamers are walking around like collecticons and stuff or local shows. And it's just like, you want anything in this case? Yeah, grab
Hmm.
this. And then they just run it. That would
Yeah.
be crazy to just walk around your store and be like, all right, here's the singles case. Anyone see anything they want to run? And then you
Yeah.
just run it right there and sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be not only is it really cool, I think engaging and a far better experience than just sitting there waiting for them to get done with whatever bullshit singles they want to sell because they have to get rid of them. I think that'd be a way cooler and more interactive experience.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure. What's the name of the cat next to you right now? Because I love that cat.
This is Kumo. I call her Little Bit,
Mo.
and she's
Yeah,
super cute.
I love that cat. I feel
She
like every
loves
time I talk to you, she is up on the desk
she
or in your lap.
is hanging out. She loves to make biscuits, and when I'm wearing my robe, yeah, she loves it.
Awesome. Awesome. Gotta love that. Ernesto, Mason, I stole a candy bar from your store and you caught me. Are you calling the cops or are you giving me a warning?
Um, a lot of the time, sometimes people will get excited, or my guys will be busy, and they'll go and walk off, and they will be totally okay with coming back up and saying, "Hey, I took a candy bar earlier. I'm going to pay you for it." Um, Something like that, I'm not going to be super plussed about having to worry about. If somebody steals a candy bar, man, the amount of effort to call a cop, file paperwork, deal with that either I or an employee is going to lose instead of just letting that 40 cents go is it's really dumb. And I will press charges for any small piddly amount, but it's got to be make sense for that. There has to be some sort of long-term outcome to that. There's not going to be any some long-term outcome from with a kid walks off with a candy bar or whatever. It's just not. So
That being said, this is not an invitation to go and steal a candy bar.
I have ruined people's lives over $15.
There you
Yes.
go.
I have had somebody get fired from their job when I post on social media that they stole from my store. Yes.
Yeah.
It,
Why would you do
it's
that?
so
That's like
silly.
the
It's
dumbest
so
thing.
insane.
Oh man.
A guy worked for an ambulance company and he was an EMT and he got fired from his job because he was wearing his EMT shirt on my cameras when he was stealing and he lost his job. And the ambulance company was like, "Hey, can you take that down off your website. We fired that employee. I'm like, sure, I'll do that for you. I think I cropped it or something, but yeah, super.
Ray says, Mason, if I can't read the card, is it collectible?
Absolutely, yes,
Of course.
yes. Some of the best looking cards are not readable.
Exactly. Well, they're readable to other people.
Sometimes not. Magic has Phyrexian cards that are in Phyrexian, which is their made-up proprietary language, and they're freaking badass.
Damn, all right.
Sure, also it is readable, but yeah, it's a language that is proprietary to Magic, but
Yeah.
it does exist, and a way to decipher it is also exists, but who's going to do that, right?
Booster Boys Card Shop, welcome.
Hey.
Herblore has a question. If Cardinal Gaming got 100% allocations for Destined Rivals, would you have to scramble for cash, or are you playing allocation safely, unlike some stores?
I have realistic numbers in with all my distributors. I don't believe that inflating your numbers does anything other than puts a strain on the whole distribution chain of going, hey, Southern Hobby is getting 50,000 booster boxes, let's say, but they want 100,000. Okay, now we have to focus on that set when potentially maybe they wouldn't have to really, because nobody would actually be taking that many if they were given that many. You know, that type of thing. So we've got to think about the more macro part of like what that does, because people, the distribution companies get those numbers and then they take them to Pokemon. It's not just like, hey, I'm just going to put in 1,000 of a booster box with no expectations of getting it. That should definitely not be a thing, because distribution companies take those numbers and they go to Pokemon and say, hey, I need this many. What if they do actually get that many? Then you get boned, right? So, and it does nothing for you. It doesn't help your numbers at all. It doesn't, like, saying you want 1,000 of Destined Rivals doesn't make you look like a badass to them. It doesn't make you look like you're a baller. It doesn't. What makes you look like a baller is spending the $500,000 I spent last year with them. That makes me look like a baller to them. And I'm just a middle-sized store. There's plenty of people that spend millions with people. That's what they care about. They don't care that you want 1,000 of this booster box. They don't.
This one's.
But I would have, like, I put in realistic numbers, and yes, I would take and figure out a way to do it. Absolutely, I would.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you carry Union Arena?
Yeah. Union Arena is small. The player base is pretty niche and small, but it's one of those TCGs that I am looking at. I really like the cards. I really like how they do their ultra rares and secrets. They're very cool, stylized, very cool looking, and they're they can have good IPs.
Yeah, I've been very surprised by the selection of IPs that they've had. Basically, any new anime that's popular is going to get a Union Arena set.
which is crazy, right?
If you look at all the Union Arena Japanese sets that have come out, it's like every new popular anime.
Yeah.
You would think. I honestly think I don't know how, because I think the cards look great too, and I don't know how this doesn't. I mean, Weiss has been around a lot longer, but the quality of animes that they have for being such a new game, I don't know how they won't just dominate Weiss at some point, with Weiss only putting out so many sets per year.
I mean, that's the scary thing, right? Like, is that remember, Union Arena is a Bandai TCG. It is. It's not like One Piece or Dragon Ball, but it is a smaller, notably smaller team. But yeah, the whole multi-property kind of thing is new, because Weiss was kind of the goat of that. Universes as well. They did My Hero, and kind of made My Hero their own thing. And yeah, Attack on Titan had their own stuff in their Universes series. But Union Arena is Bandai's attempt at it. And they have the money to get these big names. In fact, they also have Attack on Titan coming down the pipes, or already have, I think. Maybe, I don't remember, but
I think it's coming out soon in English. Maybe I think they're on their second set in Japanese.
Yeah,
because it's been around for a couple of years, I think, in Japanese before it came to English.
Yeah, we got One Punch Man, Sword Art, Black Clover, Fullmetal Alchemist, Attack on Titan.
Kaiju number 8, I think, got one in
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yu Yu
Yeah,
Hakusho, Bleach.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean Demon Slayer. All these guys are in Union Arena. Um, the problem with it, I think, currently is like I can't ever reorder it. It's like all Bandai things. If I don't pre-order a certain amount of it, I just don't get any of it after that. So
Do they just not? Do they not reprint them,
I,
or they just don't offer them after the first allocation?
yeah, it's one of those just like I don't know. It's Bandai doing Bandai stuff where it's just
Huh?
like maybe that's how they want to limit the releases to make it and keep the collectible market up on them, which makes sense. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's um, I would, I guess, much rather have it be that way than the other way. But it sucks to try to build a player base or have people that are interested in building the deck that they can't get the decks.
yeah, yeah. Do you do the Universes stuff as well? Those sets as well?
I used to carry it, but I don't carry it anymore. I don't. It just didn't do well.
Universes came out so cold. Like the first couple of My Hero sets were so boring to rip because there weren't any like crazy cool looking ultra rares
Yeah,
or anything. And
it had no artistic styling. It has no like unique, cool looking prints. Union Arena has very flashy, very cool. I love the signature cards. I love those
yeah,
type of stylized like sold or silver or gold trim treatments on cards. Like Demon Slayer has like the checkerboard like
yeah, his rope.
his
Yeah,
robe. Yeah, it has like that kind of cool stuff. Like that's just awesome. Like on brand, but also like very unique and like cool looking.
yeah.
Gives
The
it a unique
design,
flavor.
whoever's designing the cards over there is killing it. They look
Yeah,
so good. Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Uh, let's see. Hmm. I know we have more. I'm a little behind.
Okay.
Jake Smith, Mason, would you rather have to stand in an enclosed 5x5 space with 4 Yu-Gi-Oh players for 30 minutes or watch the entire first season of the anime from start to finish in Spanish and Korean subtitles?
In Spanish with Korean subtitles. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
The entire first season of Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
watching Yu-Gi-Oh. I bet Yu-Gi-Oh in Spanish slaps. I bet that's super cool.
It's probably pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would do. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
watch the
god.
anime. Yeah, I'll watch the anime.
Jeez. All right. Nesto has one. Hey Mason, what are the main similarities and differences between running your store and playing the card store simulator?
Similarities is a lot of your day in Card Shop Simulator is stocking shelves and buying things. A lot of my day is spent making sure I got pre-orders in, making sure I have orders in, and boxing and unboxing things and pricing them. Takes so long, so long. It just is a whole process of and part of the business that you have to keep track of these things and price them and have it neat and orderly for people to check out, right? But it just takes so long. Between me and my general manager, it takes um, probably 2 days a week to make sure that restocks are getting priced and making it to each store and make sure prices are, and pricing is all up to date. Yeah, it's a whole hassle, and a lot of your stuff in Card Shop Simulator is make sure your card single prices are accurate because they change every day and make sure that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of that they nailed and got that type of stuff very similar. Um, differences are I would love to spray people with spray that stunk. I would love for that to actually be a thing. Um,
They used to do that in Abercrombie or whatever. They would just walk by people and spray the cologne to try and
mm,
get you to buy it.
oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
do remember that actually now.
You just need to sell like Axe body spray or something at the front and just spray people with it.
I just, yeah, maybe I could try that, but then they just smell like axe and ass, not just
That's
actual.
true. That's true.
It's not any different. If they just stink, there's no way around that, unfortunately.
Oh man.
Um, what else? Um, in the game, they'll like bring you one single to sell. That's never how it goes. People are always bringing you a bunch of junk, and you have to like sift through their junk to get the good stuff. So that's very dissimilar. Or they'll bring you like one like $1,000 card. I'm like, bro, if only somebody walked up with their best card and be like, "Hey, buy this one thing from me, please." It'd be so much easier and easy to do. Yeah.
What makes you keep all card games in stock, even if they are low performing? Is there a point you decide it's not worth having?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a difficult one. A lot of stuff I will keep in stock just for the sake of thinking that it is cool. And people do casually look at it and they'll see it and it kind of like fills a spot on my shelf, right? Like, um, is Universe's Attack on Titan flying off the shelves? No. Do I have it in stock when I can get it? Yes. Just because it's like a cool thing to have. And then somebody does come along and buy it. It's not like a huge thing, but it fills out the shelf, right? Like I have shelf space that, as especially with Pokemon, my display shrinks and expands based on what I can get my hands on and what comes out that week or whatever. So I have to have filler of some kind to like fill up the space and make it look like it's full still, even though it's not. So yeah, I'll throw a couple of like some of the smaller card games or whatever, and kind of fill up the space and kind of spread things out a little bit better to make it look more full. Um, it's okay to have like 1 or 2 boxes and have that stuff sit. Do not buy cases of stuff, hoping that it's going to sell.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay to just have something for a short term, and then when it's gone, it's gone. It is what it is, and you don't have to buy cases and cases of things. In fact, I would encourage you not to buy cases and cases of things because more than likely you should be able to get your hands on it, unless it is something like super stonky, in which case you should probably just have known that it was something like that. But for the most part, I like buying something coming out like the new League of Legends game that's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy. I think that's gonna do well. I'm not really worried about that selling. So I'm gonna have. I bought cases of that, right? If you didn't know if it would sell for you or not, buy 4 boxes, buy 6 boxes. Have them on the shelf. If they don't sell, you're out what $300, as opposed to buying cases and cases of stuff. Just be smart. Be smart about what you order. It's nice to have a good selection. I think that's important. Is having a good selection and having kind of like the more niche stuff that people are going to walk in and think is cool. But yeah, just be smart about it. Don't buy cases of things that you are unsure about.
Yeah. I actually bought a few boxes of each of the Universe's Attack on Titan sets.
Sure.
Because they were like $60 a box or something on TCG Player. So I was like, I just want to rip them because they must have somehow got the rights to the manga, but not the anime, because the cards they're hand drawn manga artworks. They're not anime artworks, which I think is really cool. So
yeah,
I figured I'd get some boxes and try it out.
That's a big deal. I hate the just like screen grabs on like Weiss and stuff. I think that's so lazy, especially when that's like your hit. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. That's the thing I like about Union Arena.
Exactly,
Union Arena,
yeah.
like the basic cards have the screen grabs, but all the ultra rares are like unique.
Even not all of them are screen grabs. Some of them are just kind of like other drawn cards too. But yeah, the chases are always like super like done up and cool looking.
Yeah.
Like somebody spent some time and not just, oh, this is a sparkly foil with a signature on it of a screen grab. Yeah.
Mason, would you rather keep your life as is, or would you trade in your cats for a life-size Arcanine that embodied all of their personalities and you could ride to work and torture enemies?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Give me that Arcanine. What the hell?
No, Kumo.
She gone. She gone. Come on, you're out. You're getting traded in. Sorry, it's just the way it is. I don't make the rules. A real life Arcanine? Come on, that's crazy. Like that. Come on.
That's true.
Come on.
True. That's true.
Come on.
Oh man.
Extreme speed. I could be in my shop in like 6 minutes.
With a big space like yours, do you run video game tournaments, or are video game spaces not worth the effort?
Monetizing video games is difficult. The easiest one is like fighting games, right? I actually work with a local group that runs game tournaments. Like they come in and they run them for me. They pay like They call it like a venue fee. So I make a flat amount of money, and then they use my table space and they stream and they have a Twitch channel that they stream it all on. It's really cool, and that works out great. Uh, the way that we do a fighting events is it's not just for one game. It's like 6 games in one day, but it starts like at an hour intervals away from each other. So, like when they're doing the final numbers for Tekken, they'll be starting Street Fighter. So all those people that are done and out of the running for like Street Fighter are out of Tekken, they'll be wanting to play and be getting going on Street Fighter. So it kind of like gives a revolving door, and you don't have to wait in between games for people to like want to play. It's really cool how they do it. It's the best way to do it, and it keeps people in and out of the store all the time. So somebody that wants to play one game, they'll leave, and then somebody that wants to show up for this, it just is a nice way. It's a perfect scenario for events to run in a short time frame for the amount of people, and then in a store setting to get people in my store for just a couple hours and not out there all day. It's the ideal. Like, it's super cool.
Nice.
So that's huge and really cool. But yeah, the hard thing about, especially like with Pokemon, is incentivizing people to like to come play Pokemon in store. There's not good incentives for Pokemon video game. It's just, what do you give people on video game like that they want? Like the video game winners get like trading cards at like Worlds and stuff, right? Which is silly. Like, they don't want, like, they don't care. They shouldn't care, like, right? But again, how do you incentivize or give something to those people? It's very hard to encourage people to come and play.
Do you run trade nights and stuff at your stores too?
I do not.
No?
But I would love to start doing that. Yes.
Cool.
It's very difficult for trade nights because you have to worry about people like selling things and like trying to like monitor that and make sure like kids aren't like getting scammed and things like that. It's a whole like a lot of like what ifs for things that was probably going to be fine and not a big deal, right? But I also don't like want people to be like, hey, I'm going to bring in all these packs of Journey together that I scalped and sell them for $5 versus my price that I sell them for, also kind of thing. It's just like it's complicated and it can be messy, but also like obviously would be really good, and the community aspect of it is appealing, right? So how do I monitor that? How do I make sure nobody's ripping people off? It can be really difficult.
Yeah. Hooded says F pricing.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole job in itself. Yep.
Son of a Merc, did you get your hands on the Gundam beta box, the little white ones?
No, I didn't get the beta boxes, which is a bummer. Gundam is going to be huge, though. I love the cards. They also look awesome. It's another Bandai game, right? So it's very excellent card quality, card stock, and yeah, the graphics and the art styling is super on point. If you haven't looked at them, they're freaking sick. I think it'll do very well.
So Ray said this worked really well for this LGS, but a local LGS started running shows. I'm assuming vendor shows, paying $150 a table.
Wow, that sounds like hell to try to run and see for exactly the reasons I just said. Like, and then you're charging people too. What a man! I can't imagine. The things again. How do you prevent the low likely scenarios from happening? But if it happens, it totally destroys like that scene,
Yeah.
and ruins, and it gets associated with your store, even though you had nothing to do with it. Like, it's a whole scary scenario. I don't know.
He said it went really well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, look, again, when it goes really well, they're amazing events. What about one time that somebody gets stolen from, or people want to get in arguments about shit and get petty or get weird, or steal kids and shit, and it's just like it have to be a whole thing.
Yeah. Well, back to my questions. What do you think some of the biggest misconceptions or assumptions people make about game stores or people who own them?
Mm, wow. Um, I think probably that um, the amount of money people think we make is probably really insane. A lot of people think of like sealed prices, right? And sealed prices are crazy, right? Um, and they are, but okay, I am buying sealed product at 70%. Some people are laughing at that and saying that's crazy, and other people are saying, that's really fair and that's, for fees, whatever, and convenience, that's fine, right? Um, 30% margins on product is pretty low for as far as like new product goes. For TCG, otherwise, it's probably about 20% normally. Um, for a Pokemon box, that is, I would sell for 110 when I paid 93 for it. Uh, what percentage is that? Very low. I don't even like the math, whatever it is. Um, of a low percentage, less than 15%. And that's normal. That's normal for me. But people see 110 for a booster box and I think I'm making tons of money.
Right.
Um, Sealed product is a vehicle to get the card singles, which I actually make money on. I want people to trade their card singles that they don't want for the booster boxes because I make more off their cards than I do their actual money that they spend with me, right? Because that's a product that I can sell for a higher percentage.
Yeah.
But then also, uh, I make more percentage wise off of singles.
Yeah.
So in every scenario possible, I want singles as opposed to sealed product. Sealed product is there to incentivize people to play and come play. That's a good thing, right? But also, like, I want new stuff to come into the store. People get hype about it. Bring me all their old stuff for the new stuff. That's what I want. That's the ideal scenario. So
Yeah.
that's how I make money.
I
Um,
feel like a lot of people think that distro is just like once you get distro, you're just printing. Like that's the money printer. Get
it's
into distro and you're printing money off sealed.
like the amount of money I've had to just eat shit sandwiches on to get to where I'm at, to where I get decent numbers from distro. Uh, Man, it's pretty substantial. The amount of effort and workload that I've had to do to get and make these $100 off of these booster boxes when I was making, again, like $15 normally, which is, again, uh, if I make $15, again, I pay my employees $15 an hour.
Yeah.
So I sell a booster box, I pay for a single employee for an hour. Like,
Yeah.
think about it. Like, that is nothing.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to sell a case and a half of booster boxes every day for an employee, which does not happen. I can guarantee you that it does not happen.
Yeah.
Like that is the actual reality of like what's happening at a game store. It's if that doesn't hammer it home.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask this next question because it was brought up in one of my other convos. You were in the chat as well,
Yeah.
and you didn't seem too thrilled about the idea, but I'll ask you here anyway.
Okay.
So Tay Grading, I don't know if you heard of that company before.
I have. I've heard of them.
They have this insane idea that they think they're going to put grading pods, portable game grading pods, kind of self-run portable
Hmm.
grading pods into game stores across the United States,
Yeah.
local LGSs. If they reached out to Mason Cardinal Gaming and said, "Hey, we want you to be a flagship store to
Mm.
test our tag grading pod
Yeah.
for the state of Kentucky."
Yeah.
Kentucky, is that right?
Mhm.
Um, was it? Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
would you do it?
Probably. Yeah. I think it's something I would toy with for sure.
Really?
Uh, I wish it was somebody other than Tag, but I get it. But it's all automatic, right? Or supposedly, right? So it's supposed to be.
Supposedly, yeah.
I could see where, yes, you take a card, you put it in a tray or whatever, and you have it go through in a light controlled area where they do their calibration checks and they look at both sides and they do all the things that they do, sure. And then they conveyor belt it into a slab and they slab it up and, spits it out on the one end and have that all be a thing all at once. It's a cool idea that I would probably would I like pay a lease fee for that? Probably maybe not, depending on how much it was, but it is definitely a cool idea that could increase their outreach a lot,
Yeah.
and increase their own branding at the expense of mine, possibly. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cool idea. Like I'm not poo pooing it as far as like, man, that's really dumb. I think it's feasible, right? That's a feasible thing that could actually happen. How do you monitor it? How do you make sure it's you know not getting taken advantage of on their end, right? Dishonest stores running things through there or whatever, running things through and then immediately cracking them back out, sending them back there again, try to like how consistent is it, like all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
and
know.
then imagine like you take the brunt of everyone frustrated that they got a 9,
Yeah, I'm
essentially.
less plussed
So,
about that. Like I wouldn't care about that as much.
yeah.
Um, People would be like, "Hey, should I send this to the machine?" I'd be like, "No, bro, what are you doing? What are we doing?"
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
I can't possibly see this ever happening, to be honest. Like the amount of money it would take, first of all, to unless they only did it in like 10 stores or something
yeah,
across the United States. Like the amount of money, the amount of like they would literally have to be um so they would have to be so confident in the consistency of cards getting the same grade every time you send it through to
yeah,
make it so that that's not, something that people do. Like it just doesn't seem feasible. It's like Beckett trying to be successful in the UK. It just doesn't seem feasible. They can't even make it work in America. Like the fact that Tag is like they get popular at the beginning of this year. Their grading essentially is I don't even know how backlogged, super backlogged.
yeah.
And then they put out this idea that like, oh, we're gonna put grading pods in every LGS across the United States. Like that is just like whoosh, like
I don't know.
fantasy land.
From their standpoint, it's probably a great idea. Like your name, your branding on in every LGS around the country,
It's a great
and
idea.
that's like the de facto. I
I'm
think
just
that's
not sure it
pretty.
seems feasible.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a 3D printer, but with the slab.
Yeah.
I think it could work. I think it's like on paper. I don't hate the idea. I think it's really cool, and I think yeah, it could be a neat little service I could offer in store.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, say what you want about Tag itself. I don't,
Yeah.
whatever, but it's not a bad idea. It's not a conceptually bad idea. At a surface level, it's not a terrible idea.
Yeah. It's like a on paper sounds cool. Not sure how you'd ever succeed in making it happen, but it sounds cool
Yeah.
if it was possible.
And how do you like?
Um,
Okay, if I as a store, can I just like run all my cards through there, like for a discount, or am I getting a deal? Am I that could be like pretty sick.
yeah, you just grade everything that comes in. See, and then I wonder how much are you just like devaluing your own merchandise if you have so many of these tag slabs just being shoved out into the because I feel like tag right now is a little bit inaccessible and people because
Like
of the
in a good
technology and
way? In a good
stuff.
way?
Kind of like
Yeah.
high-end stuff is doing better, or at least was. I don't know if it is now, but high-end English stuff and like tens at tag have been outperforming some tens in PSA.
Yeah.
And but if you have like just an absurd flood of tag slabs onto the market, um, I just don't know. People would really have to trust their scale
Yeah. I mean, I
and the technology and
yeah,
everything.
and make sure it's consistent. How do you make sure it's calibrated correctly? Like, yeah.
Yeah, what happens if the sonic
Somebody
sealer doesn't seal one? Then it's like, oh crap! Does someone from Tag have to come out and fix this thing? And then it's
yeah.
not working for months.
Oh, I just meant like from a like how do I know, do I have like a thing that I put in there? It's like, oh, this is a 10, flawless 10. I calibrate it to this. Like I don't know how it works, you know?
Yeah,
Um, over time, things are just gonna get, you know, beat down and dust is gonna get in there and how do you prevent all that? How do you do the maintenance?
the McDonald's McFlurry machine.
Exactly,
It needs to
exactly,
be constantly under
exactly.
maintenance. Yeah, yeah.
Like
It just I don't know how you make it happen, but fun idea.
conceptually,
Um,
I think it's a neat idea.
yeah. So I had a question. You can tell me if you didn't follow this at all.
Mm,
There was some drama with MJ Holdings recently.
mm.
And did you follow that at all?
Yeah, I've heard.
So I don't know anything about it. So I'm curious if you can explain it to me from a game store perspective of what MJ Holding was doing and how it was affecting people.
Um, so as I understand it, and this may be not the case, um, MJ Holding is basically a distributor, right? They get things from Pokemon, yeah, and then they disperse them across stores, just like a distributor disperse things across stores, but they do it in Walmarts and Targets and blah blah blah, right?
Hmm.
Um, I mean, there's a lot of things about MJ Holding, and I think some of it is probably already like we already knew was happening, like backdooring product and like employees getting product. Like how many GameStops have we heard about? Like, oh yeah, we got all these things, but all the employees are getting them. Um, I had somebody call me on the phone asking if I had something. I'm like, yeah, I had a pre-order at GameStop in the mall, but all the security guards for the mall bought it all, and they like had like a like got all the product. I'm like, that's insane. Like, um, I don't know like what the specifics were, but I'm sure it has something to do with that, with their just like
Backdooring product, basically.
backdooring product, and then like also like under a different name selling it at on like Target's website and stuff like that under a different name, I think is
Mm,
what the latest thing was.
okay. Interesting.
Um,
So they were doing a direct to consumer essentially
well,
on different
at
websites
at market pricing or at
at market.
increased, which nobody knows. Nobody knows if like MJ Holding has like a contract with Pokemon or something to sell it at X price or whatever. I don't know. Um, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But um, there was actually a distributor that got caught doing that. ACD. ACD got caught doing that with Magic
Mm.
and selling Magic uh, on somewhere. I think like eBay or somewhere under a different name. And to this day, they can't and do not have access to selling Magic
Oh wow. So
because they
Magic
got
put a kibosh
they
on
got
that.
slapped. Yeah. So they do care. Clearly, they do care about distributors not doing that. But every other distributor now is selling things at market to, or at least at 90% of market to stores like mine. So what's the difference? I
Yeah,
guess.
because after its first, it seems like after the first allocation, distributors can just be like, "Yeah, if this box is what 250, we'll offer it to you for 195."
Yeah.
It's like,
Um,
holy shit.
Magazine Exchange is the distributor that I always use as an example because they don't hide that information.
Mm.
You can actually go on Magazine Exchange website and see all their specials that they sell to stores. Uh, it's magazine exchange.com. Yeah, at the very top, it's weekly specials. You click on their weekly specials, and anybody can go and see them. And you don't have to log in or anything. So that you can see all the deals that we as stores deals we get. Limited to blah blah blah. And it's 85-90% of market. Is it better than nothing? Is it better than not having product? Yes. But yeah.
And this wasn't really happening? This wasn't really happening during like the COVID boom, right? COVID boom distribution was more
Hold the phone?
realistic.
Did they change it? They may have changed it. Whoa, they got smart. Damn.
Oh, they took it off the website?
Sorry, y'all.
Oh, the
I was blowing
prices?
up their spot, and they're like, "Yeah, why do we do that? Never mind." Wow. Whoopsies. That's funny. You can go everywhere else, and it takes you to like, hey, log in to see pricing, but they're weekly specials. You didn't have to log in before, and now you do.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Well, never mind. That no longer is the case. It's crazy. But yeah, like to send emails and stuff, people and like that. So it's whatever.
Gotcha.
That you can actually get all the information from still. But yeah, all the distributors do it now anyways. So it's just kind of like, it's why MJ Holdings would be, prevented from doing anything like that. I don't see why they would. Who cares?
Okay.
You
know. Well, this is severely belated as we are an hour and 36 minutes in, and it's about a week past. But happy birthday!
Oh shoot! Yeah,
I know that was recent, and good. Greeny just popped in, and obviously his birthday was. You guys share a birthday, so happy birthday, both of you.
We do.
So for your birthday, you spent it in Florida, at Florida Collecticon.
Yeah, went down there, had a great time, met a bunch of people. Well, people that I didn't meet a lot of people that I didn't previously meet, but yeah, it's great. Had a lot of fun. Very cool.
Awesome. Was there you just wanted to go for the convention and just to hang out and stuff, or were there things you were doing out there? Or
I wanted to see MetaZoo and how they were doing, see what the launch of MetaZoo was going to be like. But yeah, I'm friends with Ernie and Thrifty and all those guys down in Florida, so I wanted to go. Wanted to see Oak, but he wasn't there. Wow, big shocker. But yeah, just wanted to a show that just conveniently was on my birthday, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Go down there. So.
Also, will you be in Chicago this year? This weekend?
I will not. I will not be there this weekend. I got too much going on. But
gotcha.
Maybe in the fall. I might go to the fall one.
Cool.
It's just so close. I might do that. I am probably going to do Charlotte. In fact, I think I am officially doing Charlotte. We have the Airbnb already booked, so it's happening. It's happening. So, yeah, that's the plan. As far as things that I'm going to go to, probably do Charlotte, and then yeah, maybe Chicago too in the fall. That's all I have planned currently, though.
Well, fun fact for everybody: Mason and I are two people that have been hit by the Charlotte. What do we even call it? Car demon thing.
Oh, yeah.
The first year, your van broke down while you were trying to get everything to Charlotte, and then the second year, my car broke down on the way to Charlotte. So, if you're driving to Charlotte this year, be careful.
It's just I guess it's just a rough drive. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like maybe it's just really rough on cars. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, that sucked.
Yeah,
and it probably sucked for you too. So
yeah, I mean, I still can't believe how like okay you seemed when you finally got to Charlotte.
It was a whole mess. It was a whole ass mess. But we made it work. We got a U-Haul. We made it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't wish that on me. You know I'm driving. Hey, I'm driving too, although I have a new car now. So
isn't Chef like local to there? It can't be that bad of a drive.
Well, yeah, we're like 3 hours away.
Oh, 3 hours. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought you guys were closer.
not that horrible.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So those are the two I plan on doing. We will see if I can fit any other ones in, but we'll see.
so Greeny asks, would you ever consider opening a third store? What would have to happen for that to happen?
Hmm. Um, I think there are a lot of things I could do differently. And in fact, when the lease is up on my second store, I will probably not renew it, and I will probably go back down to one store.
Oh,
Um, because there's a lot of stuff I can do under one roof, and there's a lot of advantages to that, as opposed to having all the extra complications of having to ping pong stuff around to between two stores and things not being optimized in the way that you can fully take advantage of that type of situation that needs to happen before you know making other locations make sense. The Because right now I'm just like driving stuff in between the two stores, and it's really just like I am wasting my life to go back and forth between these two stores when the stuff would sell at the main store if I just waited an extra week. So it's just like, it's not really any helpful. It's not really helpful at all as far as like sales happening. The only thing it kind of helps with is intake and like taking things in. So
yeah.
um yeah, it's not great. I would prefer to have all my employees under one roof. I would prefer them to all be with me so I can like divvy out that. And again, there's a lot of stuff that was in the air about how that would look like and how that would operate that we did not take care of, and probably still to this day do not have taken care of to where it's a nice oiled machine that can like sustain on itself by itself. Um,
Okay.
um, yeah, so I don't know what that looks like or going forward. Uh, do I move the main location into a bigger, nicer building that can do more like online stuff? Maybe have some streaming rooms or streaming capacity or something like that. Or maybe I can build it out in my current spot. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, there's lots of stuff I could do out of one store very efficiently to grow the business and have that be more long term as opposed to opening a third, fourth, fifth store and them just like struggling to meet the expectations or the sales that the main location could just do if I was more better
Yeah.
established in that space.
Okay. That makes sense.
I've seen a lot of stores that have multiple locations. They've either scaled back a lot and went back to one, or that's the other option of just like I'm going to build one big store with multiple different sales avenues in that one spot. Then you know spreading all that stuff apart. It doesn't make a lot of sense to spread so thin that you just have two not crappy stores. Let's not say crappy, but unoptimized stores where I could just have one really nice oiled machine that is just crushing it.
Yeah. That makes sense. If you go down to one store, we have a couple of similar questions here.
Mm.
Would your allocation change if you moved down to one store?
No,
Do you have two separate distro accounts for two different stores?
they do not.
Okay.
They do not really care because I have two uh, OP programs. I get twice as many like OP stuff. But if I had that same, like if I had like for Pokemon, I have like 60 kits for one store and I have 90 kits for the other store, so I get 150 total, right? If I was just running those events under the one location, I could still just get the 150 kits. It'd just be under the one. So it doesn't really help. It doesn't really help the situation
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
I would just run more frequent and bigger events in the one store. Yeah.
Gotcha. Sky has a question.
Yeah.
How do you train your employees to handle card condition on par with direct standards? Have you had issues with them being either way too harsh on condition
Mhm.
or not harsh enough on condition?
Yeah. Um, for a long time there, we were having lots of struggles with conditioning, card conditioning, in the direct program. I did an entire series on it. I did not know that was what the series was going to be about, but my bulking up series, if anybody wants to go and watch like that part of it, that is the entirety of what that kind of turned into. The idea was like, hey, let's go from 0 cards in inventory to, I think 150 was like my goal, or maybe 100,000 was my, or 120. I don't know, was the goal. But it turned into, oh, if we don't get our shit together, we're gonna get kicked off direct. How do I
Hmm.
go about changing this? Um, and to this day, we are at 2%, which is the qualification that Teach Player wants us to be at. So we are maintaining. Again, we are growing. We add somewhere in the realm of 10 to 15,000 cards every month, as well as selling probably 10,000 cards a month through direct. So it's a big operation of adding and fulfilling and all that crap. That's a big, nice, well-oiled machine. That's very, very nice.
Nice.
Um, in the series and in talking with this, I've gotten very, very close with TCG Player. I talk to a lot of teams on TCG Player. I offer talking to them as part of like being a direct seller. Um, I've done sponsored videos with them, and Gamma, which is a big like game distribution and like game store convention, was also in Louisville this past year and has one more year to being here. So that relationship also gets to flourish because of that as well. So I did a presentation with TG Player at Gamma this year. I was on a panel that they did, so that was awesome. So I work very closely with TG Player. Um, a lot of the changes and recent changes that have gone through with conditioning was in part with me and sellers like me and working with them and like figuring out what makes sense. How do we meet the standards without knowing what the standards are very
Hmm.
clearly? And how do we figure out each of these card type issues and how do we resolve that? Before we were talking with them, they had no specific of what liquid damage on a card. Where does that fall? How much liquid damage is to what category? You know, whatever. Um, by the way, TCG Player, anything that's a foreign substance on a card is automatically makes it damaged. So water damage
Oh,
is a damaged card. But on direct, only on direct. It's kind of weird because direct sellers should be and have to be at a higher standard than regular sellers. Regular sellers could just do whatever the hell they want, basically, and it's just kind of like their words versus theirs, right? Um, but yeah, the whole implementation of like the TCG Player like point system and the clarifications of like, hey, manufactured ware versus like organic, like through playing ware. That was a whole thing that we had to talk about, and like, how can a card that's pack fresh be that literally every card is this way? How do we make a rubric that makes that fair to sell at near mint when every card should be, by old definitions, BLP? Like a lot of that stuff, a lot of back and forth like that. That was super annoying.
yeah.
All that happened through the Woken Up series and me talking about and working with them to figure out very nicely clear defined rules and clarifications for this stuff. So a lot of good came from the series and like me having a YouTube channel and you know, not to like toot my own horn and like it wasn't just me. A lot of people were, you know, helpful and helped with that process, but I think I did a good thing and I was helping out and did right by the rest of the sellers on the platform by making some sort of rubric that we can all follow and make sense. You know?
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Since you were a part of the creation of this rubric,
Hmm.
why doesn't TCG Player have a mint or pack fresh designation instead
I
of?
I've talked about that. In fact, I made a video talking about why does near mint exist? Why is it not just unplayed? Is it should be
Hmm.
like the actual term is because you talked about lightly played, moderately played, heavy played, damaged. Makes sense. Near mint is not in line with those other types of things because you're talking about play, 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 and just like this card got destroyed. But near mint is nothing. It means nothing. Near mint means nothing. We all know it means nothing.
Yeah.
You look at a near mint card in a 10 from PSA, and you look at a near mint card which is a 7 at PSA. It's a totally different like type of wear, type of card, type of something else happened to this card. So a lot of what I'm pushing and have pushed with TCG Player is saying, hey, we are a TCG Player is for the most part a card players marketplace, right? If people are like super like caught up on like the edges or corners or perfection on a card, they go on eBay. They'd want to look at pictures. You can have pictures on TCG Player, but most people, if you're on TCG Player, you're buying either sight unseen and crossing your fingers and saying that hopefully it's near mint, or you're gonna expect it to be some sort of like played thing if it's LP or worse, right? But near mint means nothing. It's not a sensible way of like describing a card. It means nothing. So unplayed should be what near mint should be, or pack fresh sure is a term that we can say too, but that also doesn't really mean anything. Like we all know that
Yeah.
cards have dings and bends and crazy stuff right out of a pack.
Yeah.
So to me,
Unplayed. Yeah.
unplayed is the should be the highest level on TCG Player, just for the sake of like a sound rubric that's all the way through and makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
A card that has never been in a sleeve, never been in a deck to play. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Okay, so I realize I actually forgot these two things, but before we wrap it up,
Oh,
yesterday
yeah.
I forgot them with Nick. But
Oh no.
two things I asked for: a hot take
Yes.
and a basically like an act of kindness, either something that you did or something that you saw happen in the store or something, because I feel like a lot of Pokemon YouTube is a lot of negative clickbaity stuff. So I want to bring something positive to the forefront. So we're gonna do a hot take, kind of bring in the negative, and then we're gonna smack it in the butt with the act of kindness after the fact. So what do
Yes.
you got for a hot take, Mason?
I say this take a lot, so maybe it's not as hot as I think it is. But and maybe somebody else even said this too, but or maybe it's not even a hot take. I don't know. But um, people need to get over. People need to get over their little bubble of this hobby. There is millions of Pokemon packs out there in the world. Millions is not that's not hyperbolic. That's not like there's literally millions of Pokemon cards floating around from every set, all the other sets mixed into there's millions of packs. Um, one person scalping your Walmart that's local to you means actually nothing. Hard stop. Like it means nothing. It has no bearing on the market. It has no bearing on the large macro level of Pokemon cards as a whole. It means nothing. My store doesn't matter. All the stores in Louisville don't matter. Like when you get to the state of Kentucky, okay, maybe a little bit, right? But there's so many people in this hobby. You're talking millions and millions of people collecting Pokemon cards. You are not entitled to anything. Your little bubble that you're in, it's not like, oh, the scalpers in my area are the worst. No, just people are the worst, and they're everywhere, and it's like that everywhere. If there's opportunity there, it's gonna exist, right? Or that type of behavior is gonna exist. It's not special to you. It's not any worse in your town. Like, go on any like Pokemon collecting like city or like county or like whatever state, and you'll see all these posts about like all this stuff. How dare you? The scalpers are ruining the hobby. Blah 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 blah. Y'all, it doesn't matter. You are like a grain of sand on a beach as far as like the overall people that are buying in this hobby. It it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like you as a person, your opinion matters, but as to the Pokemon company or to your sales, that being a thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, I think that the I think there's a line between just being frustrated at the situation and the like entitlement that some people feel
Mm.
to that product. Like
Mm.
I think that someone can easily walk into Target, maybe they usually grab like an ETB on Sunday to open with their kid, and there's no ETBs for a month. And
Yeah,
it's like, you know what? This sucks. And it
and it does
does.
suck. It does
Yeah.
suck. I'm not trying to like say that it's not a
But
bad situation.
when it gets to that crazy entitlement level of like, let me send death threats to YouTubers and let me like do all that nonsense shit, it's like that is just like you need to stop because that's not going to help anything, and you're only lashing out to hurt others because you feel entitled to having product
Yeah.
for a certain price. Um, so yeah, but yeah.
Also, if you want like an alternative, like spicy take, or is that one
Mhm.
good enough? We
Yeah,
can do both.
no, either way,
Uh, we'll just throw this one out there, and we can just let it sit in the air. How about that?
sure.
Uh, Grading cards is the biggest scam and the biggest drain of actual joy to this hobby.
Drain of joy.
Yep, I said it. Don't ask me questions. Let's move on. I want to leave that and let that simmer.
Drain of joy.
Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
harsh take right there.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay, we could just let
Not
that sit.
not not enjoying
We
a
could
card
we
because it
could we
has
could be
a
here
spec.
the next hour talking about that
Yeah.
one.
Not uh enjoying a card because a company says it's not a good card or a perfect card is a drain of joy on the hobby. Yep. That is a net negative.
Do you think there are a lot of people that would say that they don't like a card just because it's not in a high grade?
I think that is what we are building.
Oh,
I think that is what we are. I think that is what we are becoming.
okay. Hmm. Interesting. Grimer says pin it for Thursday. I can run on that one. Interesting.
Mm, yeah.
People 100% don't like cards errors because they are hard to grade.
Ooh. Yeah. Save that for Grimer. Grimer can take that. Yep. He can remember that.
Hmm. The grading as a scam thing is a very interesting take too, because
There's a subjective opinion from somebody else that has no better eyes than you, has no better qualifications of saying why you shouldn't like a card,
that's
but
true.
but their opinion is somehow lorded over people.
Hmm. That's interesting. Very interesting.
And
Okay.
Thrifty's right. If you get a pristine, you're definitely joyful. So yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
So it
I'm
equates. Checks out.
I
Math checks out.
actually, you know what? Uh I will say that everyone out there complaining, this is my hot take. Everyone complaining that tens are harder to get are just they're just bad at pre-grading.
Capping.
They're just bad at pre-grading. I got my submission. My submission just hit 130 cards, 120 tens. Come on, guys. Step up the game, okay?
And
And
that's all modern Japanese,
quit
right?
complaining. No, Mason. Why are you trying to downgrade my accomplishment?
Oh, am I taking the joy from you because I'm saying that it's not? Oh,
Japan's easy mode. No, it's not. Ugh. When I post like return videos, and I'm like, oh, I got so many tens. I'm so excited. There's always someone in the comments that's like, yeah, but it's Japanese. It's like, oh man, it's still good though.
Yeah.
See, that's just someone stealing the joy from me.
Mm. So
Um,
grading is negatively affecting your happiness in the hobby, though. Okay. Okay.
I mean, if I got
Just making
ten
sure.
percent, if I got 10% tens, it would.
Mm.
That would piss me off. But since I got
Mm.
93% tens, I got a lot of joy. I got a lot of joy from that sub. Uh, Okay, so act of kindness, positivity. What do we got?
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about this when you sent me a message, and I was like, man, how I think there's a lot of things that I, as a game store, do that I don't necessarily have to. You can say that as a store, I don't have to run Pokemon events. What am I gaining by Pokemon events? I'm selling Pokemon anyways, right? Like, what am I gaining by that? I'm not making what uh, a couple dollars per person. That's like 2 packs worth of cards that I'm selling. I could also just make that money off of, especially right now. But more so, um, a lot of the time, I have to buy product and break it down, right? So I have all this crap. I have all these things, all this otherwise trash, right? That jumbo cards, these pins, pencil boxes, pencil cases, or whatever. Um, I, as some sort of compensation for people like paying the market price and being okay with that, anyways, most of the time. Um, I give all that stuff away to kids, and they eat it up, man. They really enjoy it, and I think that is such a great experience that um, if they go to like a Walmart and a crackhead opened up all the pencil cases, hey, you get a free pencil case, kid. Hey, good job. But hey, I can actually like give it and be like supportive about that. So, and I do a lot of stuff like, hey, it's your birthday. Hey, here's a couple extra packs and things like that. That I, as a store, as a community, right? The C word. I said the C word. Community. Um, yeah, there's lots of stuff I do for not just regulars, but people that just come and support me regardless, right? Doesn't matter what they're doing. Hey, here's one of the display things, like the premium box that they have, like the little like magnetic display things. I give those out to people. Sleeves, I give sleeves out. Play mats and like all the freaking uh Marnie things. I give those out all the time. And then I also, things like promos and things like that. I think it's great that I have the ability, and Pokemon gives me things to give away to people. I think that's also very fun and interactive and makes it a lot of fun. Uh, yeah, people that bring their kids in, I'm going to give you and give your kid something, no matter what it is, just to make it, just to eke it out and be like, hey, Walmart's not going to give you a Rayquaza Jumbo. There you go.
Yeah,
How about that? Enjoy that.
yeah,
So there's lots of stuff that I think of like as like that. Uh, but there's just so many like as a game store that I'm able to do that with. Um, like yesterday, I was out playing Pokemon. I get to play Pokemon on Sundays. It's the only time, or the only thing I actually sit down and play in my own store is Pokemon on Sunday. On my day off, I go up there for a sixth day at the store. But kid was having a bad day. He was playing against his dad, and he lost, right? And the kid started getting upset. And the dad was very, very good about explaining to him and saying, "Hey, look, you did your best. You did all you set up, and sometimes you lose." And I was sitting right next to him, and I told him, to the dad, I was like, "Look, it's important that kids learn to lose. I think there's a lot of like how to accept losing, right? Because you're gonna
Mhm.
lose a lot in life."
Yeah,
I have a playmat that people sign when they beat me at Pokemon, and it's full of names because I lose a lot. I'm not very good at Pokemon, but I enjoy playing it. Right? It's for fun. So I always tell them, I'm like, "Hey, look at all these people on my mat. These are all people that beat me. I'm having a great time. We're having fun. We're here to have fun." Uh, so even like moments like that, that's a great thing that we were talking about burnout earlier. Yeah, that's a very like, hey, I had a human interaction with somebody at a table, and it was like wholesome, right?
yeah,
Uh, and it's awesome. Like it's so fun and enjoyable, uh, and of course, yeah. At the end of the night, I gave the kid an extra pack, and I said I was proud of him because he was, you know, played so good and took it so well.
yeah,
That too. Like that's just that's the actual like takeaway of the fun part of owning a game store and being able to do that, having the privilege to be able to do that and have like that interaction, make that memory for that dad and son. That's
yeah.
that's good stuff.
Yeah, I think you see it a lot more now. I feel like with vending as well when you're walking around. If there's a kid that goes up to a table, they I don't know how many stickers now they walk away with from vending
Yeah,
tables. Like
yeah,
people giving out stickers and people giving
yeah,
out cards, and it's. I think I think being good to the future of the hobby, I think is very important. So it's very cool to be able to do those things for sure.
yeah. Um,
Um,
like I said, that's the cool stuff, man. That's the enjoyable part. Makes all the other bullshit worth it. And honestly, that's like one of the reasons why I wanted to open up a store. Like I remember taking my kids to go play Pokemon and having a great time. And that is really super rewarding to have people able to hang out and come and play in my store and have fun. Like that is the reason why I opened a store.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Um, Crimer has a question. What deck you playing right now?
Dragapult with Ghosties.
Nice.
Um, yeah, it got a little rougher with rotation, so I'm having to figure out how to fix that stuff. I gotta play with my numbers a little bit, but uh, yeah, Shug Goldango is a nasty deck too. I got destroyed yesterday by that deck. Huh?
All right. Timmy's got a lot of questions, but it's 5 minutes past my bedtime, so
No, yeah.
we can rapid fire them, or we could call it here. Whatever you want to do, Mason.
Look, I am a night owl. I'll stay here till as long as you will have me.
All right. Let's at least do this one.
Really? You want me to rapid fire this?
Let's settle the real debate. Tag versus PSA versus CGC versus BGS.
My answer is easy. Your answer is probably not as easy.
I mean, my answer is easy. It's not just one company, but,
Okay.
but it's my answer would be PSA for selling, CGC for personal collection.
What's the percentage that CGC has of the grading market versus PSA?
Not very.
Sub 10%, or maybe 10%.
I haven't seen the numbers in a while. Maybe 10%. It might be sub 10%. PSA is just so far ahead on that stuff, especially in
How
Pokemon.
how preferable do you think a chocolate cupcake is versus a vanilla cupcake? 10 to 1.
Maybe, yeah, potentially.
PSA is a chocolate cupcake. CGC is a vanilla. BGS and tag don't even exist.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm selling, I want a PSA 10. If
If I'm selling cupcakes, I want chocolate cupcakes.
Yeah. If I'm holding, I want a CGC pristine.
Shug says some people hate chocolate. Some people are wrong, Shug.
Yeah,
Some people are
people who
wrong.
hate chocolate are just weird. It's like people don't like cheese. That's just weird too. Like,
Why
like
do I have to add? Why do I have to add cheese on the Whopper?
my
What are we doing?
yeah, my
What are we doing?
stepbrother used to order pizza and pull the cheese off.
Incredible.
That's like serial killer right
Yeah,
there.
which
That's
insane asylum is he in right now?
he probably should be in one. But yeah,
Sorry.
crazy. Vanilla's better than chocolate's better than cheese. All right, we need to wrap it up because people are going crazy right now.
Clearly,
with
people
this nonsense.
aren't just respecting the time at this point because this is incredible.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you, Mason.
Of
Tell the
course.
people where they can find you and support you and everything again before we
Over
end the
there,
show.
that's in the top of the chat right there. It's
Yeah.
Cardinal Gaming
Somewhere.
here on YouTube. I do little skits. I talk about the market. I talk about owning a game store. It's a good time. Mix it in with all the other bullshit financial stuff you're watching all the time, because this is actually like real life and enjoyable. It's not just a bunch of made up bullshit from one person's perspective. How about that?
Yeah. That's the stuff
Try
I
some of that.
like. I like people who show what they're doing, what's successful for them, what's missing for them, because then I get to learn from it. Not just
Yeah.
people who are saying stuff,
Yeah.
who aren't actually doing it.
Timmy, any other questions?
It's
All right, real quick.
What?
What do you say? What do you say? No, I can't do all this. No, I'm not doing sleeves and binders and blah blah blah. No. All right.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
We'll
Is
save it for next
Cardinal
one.
the next Enron?
Probably.
What does Mason enjoy collecting, or is it all back into the store?
All back in the store. I own very few things in my personal collection. I have a few things, cards that I buy from the store that I believe in long term, like the birds, like these birds, these little birdies. I believe in
Ooh,
this
yeah,
card.
nice.
One of my favorite cards. So I buy all those. Well, I used to buy all those that came to the store, and I don't because they're $50. But yeah, I have stuff like that laying around. But
Cool.
all the rest goes in the store.
All right. Awesome, guys. Make sure to check out Mason's video, the Emperor Scalpatine video. It was fantastic, and
And it
hopefully
didn't
we
do
get
it
some
didn't
more
do that
stitch.
well. I was surprised it didn't do as well as it did. I thought people would like share it around and like have a good time with it. But
I
they
think
didn't.
sometimes with videos that don't hit the monetization length, sometimes they don't do as well, like the 3-minute
Oh,
videos and stuff.
yeah.
But I thought it was great, and people, definitely need to.
Sleeping on it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for stopping in, hanging out with us.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
y'all.
We'll see you tomorrow. I'm talking
Yeah,
to
who's next?
Spat. Spat's
Spat?
cards tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
So should be a good one.
Spat's a good dude.
He is.
Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah. All right, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.